The unused gifts and talents were withdrawn from the man and given to the person who was faithful with many gifts. You begin to defy your marriage bed because it is a common thing around you. A new plan, a new way, a new place, a new city, a new job. A star which is too hasty to shine forth will shine in the day and will never be seen. Yours sincerely, Mike Bamiloye. I'm speaking to you today on payday will always come. Many years ago, while I was on teaching practice in a small town, I had been posted to teach from my higher institution where I was studying English education. A group of boys were posted together with me to teach in a secondary school, and we were all living in the same house. Incidentally, I happened to be the only born-again child of God amidst them, and I suffered a lot of ridicule and embarrassment. An embarrassing comment from these boys I must not quarrel with. We were living in the same house and eating together, but were standing on two separate ideals. They would talk about girls and parties, and I would talk about God and essence of living for Him. They would go after girls, and I would be left alone in the house on many occasions. I was tied down. They would come back and pound on me with unbearable jokes and annoying comments, telling me all what I was missing. Yet, I was refraining myself from lashing out at them. I was tied down. Mark chapter 11, verse 1-3 says, Now when they drew near Jerusalem to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, He sent two of His disciples, and He said to them, Go into the village opposite you, and as soon as you have entered it, you will find a colt tied, on which no one had sat. Loose it and bring it. And if anyone says to you, Why are you doing this? Say, The Lord has need of it. And immediately He will send it here. He knew about the tied down colt. He had been watching the tied down colt from a spiritual distance. He knew the tied down colt was still there. It was tied and would still be found there by the time it was to be released to manifest. The colt and all along be tied down till the appointed time it will be needed. Therefore, while it was tied down beside the road, she would have seen a lot of other colts walking freely and at liberty to do whatever they wanted and go wherever they desire without restriction. They were not tied down. But why she? Why was she tied down? Or had they refused to be tied down on the spot? While on this embarrassing enslavement, this colt must have suffered a lot of ridicules and embarrassing comments from her freely roaming friends who would have spoken to her pitifully about her undue restrictions. She must have fought within herself the temptation to go wild and enforce her liberty. But she was there where the disciples came for her. 2 days from Valentine, a daughter of a minister of God had called her parents from her campus to inform them about how our fellow female and male students were hustling about the campus, preparing for the Valentine Day. She said they were moving about and talking and discussing among themselves what they would buy for their lovers. She saw some of her friends buying cards, cakes, and things ahead of the Valentine Day to be given to our lovers. On the day, she called home again to say the campus is on holiday and a lot of people are on high preparation to give things to their lovers. Her mother said she would send some money to her. to buy things for herself, that she would not be bothered with whatever her friends might be doing now, that her moment of glory will come. She was tied down. I was invited to a ministration on a campus some years ago. As I was being driven to the venue of the program around the evening time, our car was approaching a place and I saw a large crowd of people and a lot of prestigious cars parked in front of the place. I was excited and I'm thinking we were approaching the venue of the program. And I was happy the students had invited a lot of people, including lecturers, with cars. Soon, our car did not stop there, but drove past the building. And I asked the student escorts, where was the place we just drove past? They said it was one of the guest hostels. Were they holding a special program there? They said no. It is always like that every evening. Men had come to see their ladies and some cars had come to pick some of the ladies for outing out of the campus. Those donkeys were not tied down. They were free rangers. No restriction. So, it was a meeting point. But there will be some daughters of Zion, children of God in that same hostel, whose spirit will be continually grieved at the unusual sight. There will be daughters of God in that same hostel who will be witnessing how these free girls lavishly spent money and went around the hostels with gorgeous attires, while they had not such money to spend. A lot of daughters of God are more beautiful than many of those free girls who spent their bodies to acquire monetary riches from their rich boys and men friends. But these daughters of God had been tied down for their master and were not free to do whatever others were doing. Have you experienced this in an office situation? Your co-workers embarking on dubious administrative actions that you were not free to be involved in. They were making a success out of their action, and it seems you were a fool among the wise. On several occasions, you have been pressurized by them and by domestic and financial pressures to change your mind, but you choose to be a fool again and again till you began to feel you are making some mistakes. No, you are not. You are not making the mistakes. You are only tied down for the master's use. You are a female staff in an office that has your boss hunting you for a relationship. You will have been long promoted if you had bowed to his demand. You will have been more financially and materially rewarded if you had agreed to be his partner in his sinful business. But you have consistently turned him down, and things has not been getting easier for you in your office. Your friends and colleagues have advised you to cave in and loosen up. You are almost resisting being tied down indefinitely because you are almost thinking you have been a fool all along. No, you are not. You will have scored good grades if you had done what the lecturers demanded. You will have been in Europe or in America if you had agreed to falsify your visa application and submitted falsified document. You could have collected bribes like your fellow staffs. You could not join them to falsify figure. They were having it smooth, but you were having it so hard. Your friends and parents had called you a fool. You had wondered if they were right. Were they right? No. You are only being tied down for the master's use. Mark chapter 11 verse 4 to 8 says, "So they went their way and found the colt tied by the door outside on the street, and they loosed it. But some of those who stood there said to them, 'What are you doing, loosing the colt?' And they spoke to them just as Jesus had commanded. So they let them go. Then they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloth on it, and he sat on it. And many spread their cloth on the road, and others cut down leafy branches from the tree and spread them on the road. Then the appointed time came. The master sent for the colt, the tied down donkey. They loosed it. When your time comes to be loosed, no one will be able to hold you back, because your time has come." Oh, I can imagine the donkey. A moment of glory had come at last. Jesus wanted to ride on an ass to Jerusalem. It must be the one that has been prepared, the one that has patiently suffered some ridicules and embarrassment of waiting. It must be the colt that has been restricted from all negative influences around. The colt had thought she was a fool, but her moment had finally come. They threw their clothes on it, and Jesus sat on it. They dressed it gorgeously. They decorated it for the master, and the colt was honored for the master. The Bible says, "And many spread their clothes on the road, and others cut down leafy branches and spread them on the road." Can you imagine? The donkey was no longer walking on dirty ground. Do you know what that means? Red carpet. Prestigious treatment for the vessel that carried Jesus to another place. Wherever the Lord was going, the colt was qualified to be there. She had paid the price of patience. Oh, where were all those friends of hers who said she was a fool to be tied down? Where were all those fellow co-workers who were making jests of her for not resisting her enslavement? May your payday come. May your payday come too. Payday will always come. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 to 9 says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sow, that he will also reap. For he who sow to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. But he who sow to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap everlasting life. And let us not grow weary while doing good. For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart." Your payday will always come. I am yours sincerely, Mike Bamiloye.